Strong women are not born strong. They are forged in the fire of disappointment, heartbreak, and the difficult decision to walk away from people they once thought they couldn't live without. Strength isn't about how much pain you can tolerate. It's about the courage to stop tolerating what breaks your spirit. Every woman I've ever met who radiates strength, who carries herself with dignity and calm, has one thing in common. She has learned who not to keep around her. She knows that no matter how much love she has in her heart, no matter how deeply she wants to see the best in others, not everyone deserves a place in her life. But here's the part we don't talk about enough. Deciding who doesn't get a seat at your table is painful. It's not a quick or easy choice. It's the kind of decision that keeps you awake at night, replaying conversations, questioning yourself, and feeling guilty for putting your own well-being first. Because women are often taught that being good means being endlessly forgiving, endlessly accommodating, endlessly available. We're taught to hold on. But strong women, they learn the power of letting go. Letting go is not cruelty. It's clarity. It's choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over self-sacrifice. It's realizing that love without boundaries is not love. It's self-destruction. And sometimes the bravest thing you can ever do is say, I will not carry you with me anymore. When we think of toxic people, we often picture villains, obvious manipulators, abusers, or liars. But the truth is, toxic people don't always look toxic at first. Sometimes they're friends who drain your energy little by little, coworkers who chip away at your confidence with subtle remarks, family members who love you only when you fit their expectation, or partners who hold your dreams hostage. They don't always break you in dramatic ways. Sometimes they break you quietly, through small daily cuts you don't notice until you're bleeding. And here's the truth. Strong women don't keep them around, not because they don't feel pain, not because they don't care, but because they have finally understood this. Keeping the wrong people close costs more than it gives. It steals joy. It silences dreams. It makes you question your worth. When you surround yourself with people who belittle you, manipulate you, or secretly envy you, you begin to shrink. You play small. You silence your voice. And one day you wake up realizing you no longer recognize yourself. Strong women refuse to live that way. They would rather face loneliness for a season than lose themselves forever. So today, I want to share with you the 5 types of people strong women never keep around. And as you listen, I want you to remember this isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about the courage to set boundaries, the courage to protect your peace, and the courage to choose yourself. You might feel guilty when you start to let go. You might feel selfish. You might even wonder if you're being too harsh. But let me tell you this, choosing to protect your heart does not make you selfish. It makes you wise. Choosing to cut off what drains you does not make you cold. It makes you free. The first step toward becoming a strong woman is not how much you can endure. It's how much you refuse to endure anymore. And that decision starts with knowing who does not deserve space in your life. Because strength isn't only about lifting others. It's also about lifting yourself out of the places, the people, and the patterns that no longer serve you. So let's talk about the 5 types of people strong women never keep around, not because they're unkind, not because they're unloving, but because they know their worth. And once a woman knows her worth, she refuses to discount herself for anyone. Carrying toxic people in your life is like carrying invisible chains. You may not see them at first, but you feel them slowly, heavily, pulling at your spirit until the weight becomes unbearable. The truth is, we often underestimate how deeply the wrong people can affect us. We think we can handle it. We tell ourselves, it's not that bad, I can manage. But toxicity doesn't just bruise your feelings, it seeps into your soul. The weight of toxic people shows up in the way you wake up tired even after a full night's sleep. It shows up in the way you hesitate before answering their call, that knot in your stomach when their name flashes on your phone. It shows up in the way you second-guess yourself, replay conversations, and question whether you are enough. Toxic people don't just drain your energy, they distort the way you see yourself. And this is where strong women begin to draw the line. They realize that keeping toxic people around is not an act of love, it's an act of self-abandonment. When you allow people to belittle your dreams, mock your boundaries, or guilt you for choosing peace, you are quietly teaching yourself that your needs don't matter, that you don't matter, and that is too heavy a price to pay. Let me tell you something important. Strong women feel the weight too. They are not immune. They cry in the shower. They lie awake at night. They question whether they are making the right choice. But what separates them is this: they refuse to carry what was never theirs to carry. They refuse to carry someone else's bitterness, someone else's insecurities, someone else's chaos. When you surround yourself with toxic people, your soul begins to live in survival mode. Instead of creating, you're defending. Instead of dreaming, you're doubting. Instead of resting, you're constantly rehearsing arguments in your head. Life becomes about managing their moods, their criticisms, their demands. And little by little, you forget what it feels like to breathe freely. Strong women know that peace is not a luxury, it's oxygen. And when someone suffocates that peace, it is not cruel to let them go. It is essential. Because you cannot become who you are meant to be while dragging the weight of people who are committed to misunderstanding you, using you, or breaking you. Toxic people will always tell you that you're overreacting, too sensitive, or too dramatic. But strong women see through that. They know those words are just distractions, designed to keep them carrying a weight that was never theirs. They learn that protecting their heart is not selfish, it's survival. And here's the thing: letting go of toxic people doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you wish them harm. It simply means you love yourself enough to stop letting them harm you. That's the difference. Strong women walk away not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. They have learned that love without respect is not love. Loyalty without trust is not loyalty. And connection without peace is not connection. It's captivity. Think of it this way: if you were climbing a mountain, would you carry a backpack full of stones that don't belong to you? No. You would set it down. Not because you're weak, but because you know you cannot climb while carrying unnecessary weight. That's what strong women do with toxic people. They set them down. They lay the weight aside so they can keep moving toward the life they deserve. And maybe that's the hardest part, because letting go often feels like losing. But strong women understand this truth. Sometimes you have to lose people to find yourself. And that is not weakness, it is wisdom. So if you feel the weight of toxic people in your life right now, I want you to hear this. You do not have to carry them anymore. You are allowed to put them down. You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to breathe again. Strong women know the weight of toxic people, but more importantly, they know the freedom of releasing it. And that freedom is where real strength begins. The first type of person strong women never keep around is the energy drainer. You know the kind of person I'm talking about. The one who walks into a room and suddenly the air feels heavier. The one who, no matter how good your day is, finds a way to turn it gray. Energy drainers thrive on negativity. They always have a problem, but never a solution. They will pour their complaints, their bitterness, and their endless drama into your lap and then walk away lighter, while you're left carrying the weight they dumped on you. Strong women learn to recognize this pattern. They notice how every conversation leaves them exhausted, not inspired. They pay attention to how their own laughter fades when the energy drainer is around. And eventually, they make the brave decision to walk away. Because energy is life, and when someone is constantly draining it, you're not just losing your mood, you're losing your capacity to dream, to create, to thrive. Here's what makes energy drainers so dangerous. They often disguise themselves as friends who just need to vent, or family members who just want your advice. But the truth is, they don't want healing. They want to stay stuck. And if you let them, they'll keep you stuck too. Strong women choose differently. They know that protecting their energy is not selfish, it's sacred. They refuse to let their light be dimmed by someone who has no intention of finding their own. The second type of person strong women never keep around is the manipulator. Manipulators are masters at twisting your words, guilt-tripping you into compliance, and making you feel like you owe them more than you do. They don't come at you with honesty. They come at you with strategy. They know exactly how to push your buttons, exactly how to play on your kindness, exactly how to make you feel guilty for saying no. Manipulators are dangerous because they make you question your own reality. You walk away from conversations wondering, am I the problem? Did I do something wrong? That's their power. not in what they say directly, but in how they make you doubt yourself. Strong women learn to see through manipulation. They stop falling for the guilt trips, the silent treatments, the carefully crafted narratives designed to control them. They learn to say, "No, I am not responsible for managing your emotions. No, I will not shrink myself so you can feel bigger. No, I will not let your version of the story define my worth." And yes, breaking free from a manipulator is hard, because manipulators often present themselves as caring, loving, even selfless at first. They create a web of dependency, where you feel like you can't disappoint them, or you'll lose their love. But strong women realize that real love doesn't come with strings attached. Real love doesn't require you to abandon yourself to keep someone else happy. I want you to think about this. How many times have you said yes when your whole soul was screaming no, just to avoid conflict with someone manipulative? How many times have you felt guilt not because you did wrong, but because someone trained you to feel guilty whenever you stood up for yourself? That is the invisible prison manipulators build, and strong women refuse to live in it. The choice to walk away from energy drainers and manipulators is not about cruelty. It's about survival. It's about refusing to trade your peace for their chaos. It's about saying, "I will not let your patterns become my prison." Strong women protect their energy fiercely. They guard their boundaries with courage. They understand that life is too short, and their purpose is too big, to be wasted on people who drain their spirit or twist their truth. So they walk away. And yes, it hurts. But every step away from an energy drainer or a manipulator is also a step toward freedom. And freedom for a strong woman is worth everything. The third type of person strong women never keep around is the dream killer. These are the people who, the moment you share your vision, your passion, or your plan, they're quick to shoot it down. They might laugh at your idea, call it unrealistic, or remind you of all the reasons why it could fail. Dream killers wear the mask of being practical, but their words are laced with doubt, fear, and sometimes envy. Here's the thing. Strong women know that dreams are fragile in their early stages. They are like seeds. You have to protect them, water them, and nurture them carefully. And if you let dream killers stand too close, they will crush those seeds before they ever have a chance to grow. Dream killers often speak from their own limitations, not yours. They couldn't imagine themselves doing something bold, so they tell you that you can't either. They let their fear spill over into your vision, and if you're not careful, you start to believe them. You start to shrink your dreams to fit their comfort zone. That is why strong women cut them off, not because they hate them, but because they refuse to let small minds dictate the size of their dreams. If a woman has built strength, she knows this truth. It is better to chase a dream and fail than to let someone else convince you not to try at all. Dream killers do not belong at her table. Now, the fourth type of person strong women never keep around is the envious. These people don't just want what you have, they secretly resent that you have it. They may smile in your face, but in their heart, they are competing with you. They measure themselves against your successes, and instead of celebrating, they feel threatened. The envious are dangerous because their energy is not supportive. It's corrosive. They may pretend to cheer for you, but behind closed doors, they're hoping you stumble. They may even try to sabotage you subtly, planting seeds of doubt or minimizing your accomplishments so they feel bigger. Strong women see this clearly. They've learned that envy cannot coexist with love. Real friends don't compete with you. They celebrate you. Real community doesn't resent your growth. It multiplies it. When someone envies you, they can never truly stand beside you, because deep down, they don't want to see you win. And here's what makes the envious especially harmful. They make you feel guilty for shining. You start dimming your light so they don't feel small. You downplay your achievements, your victories, your joy, just to keep them comfortable. But strong women refuse to shrink themselves to soothe someone else's insecurity. They know their light is not meant to be hidden. It's meant to shine, even if it blinds those who refuse to see their own. Both dream killers and the envious have one thing in common. They limit your growth. One tries to convince you not to climb higher. The other resents you when you do. And strong women simply don't have the time, energy, or soul space for that. They know that in order to rise, you have to surround yourself with people who lift, not limit, with people who clap when you win, not sulk, with people who say, I believe in you, even when the dream looks impossible. Strong women curate their circles carefully because they understand that energy is contagious. You either catch courage or you catch doubt. You either catch love or you catch envy. And what you surround yourself with will shape who you become. So they cut off dream killers. They release the envious. They protect their dreams like sacred ground. And they guard their light like it's fire. Because it is. It's the fire that will guide them to everything they were created to be. And they will not let anyone extinguish that flame. The fifth type of person strong women never keep around is the conditional lover. These are the people who claim to love you, but only when you behave the way they want. They support you, but only if your choices align with their expectations. Their affection has strings attached, and the moment you stop fitting into their mold, their love becomes distant, cold, or even withdrawn. Conditional love is dangerous because it teaches you to perform for approval. You start asking yourself, if I say this, will they still like me? If I chase this dream, will they still support me? If I show my scars, will they still stay? You stop living as yourself and start living as their version of you. And that is not love, that is control. Strong women eventually learn to spot this pattern. They notice how the conditional lover's support disappears when they stand up for themselves. They notice how affection turns to silence when they set boundaries. They notice how the warmth feels more like a transaction than a relationship. And at some point, they make the brave decision, I deserve love that doesn't disappear when I choose myself. Conditional love whispers the lie that you must earn worthiness. But strong women know the truth. Love is not meant to be earned, it is meant to be given. Real love celebrates your growth, even when it looks different. Real love respects your boundaries, even when they feel inconvenient. Real love doesn't demand you shrink. It creates space for you to expand. Here's why strong women refuse to keep conditional lovers around. Because life is too short to beg for love. They know their worth is not negotiable. They know they don't have to prove themselves over and over to be worthy of affection. They know that any relationship built on conditions is not a safe place, but a performance stage. And strong women are done performing. Think about it. How many of us have silenced our truth, hidden our passions, or pretended to be smaller just to keep someone's love? How many of us have confused control with care, silence with safety, or fear with loyalty? The conditional lover keeps you in chains, but strong women break free. Walking away from someone you love, who only loved you conditionally, is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. It feels like ripping out a piece of your own heart. But strong women choose that pain over the lifelong ache of never being fully seen, fully accepted, fully loved. Because deep down, they know half love is not love at all. Conditional lovers often use guilt as a weapon. They'll say things like, after all I've done for you, or you've changed. But strong women embrace that truth. Yes, they have changed. They have grown. They have found their voice. And if someone can't love them through that growth, then that person has no place in their future. Here's the lesson strong women want you to remember. Love that comes with strings will strangle you. Love that comes with freedom will heal you. And you are worthy of the kind of love that doesn't demand you shrink, but invites you to shine. So they release the conditional lovers. Not because they didn't care, not because the love wasn't real at one point, but because they refused to live their life begging for scraps of affection. They walk away with tears in their eyes, but dignity in their heart, because they know letting go of conditional love is the first step toward receiving the kind of love that was meant for them all along. Strong women choose freedom over performance. They choose self-worth over conditional approval. And most of all, they choose to believe that they are enough, exactly as they are. At the end of the day, strong women know this truth. Who you keep close shapes the life you live. Every toxic voice, every manipulative hand, every conditional heart. These things do not just weigh you down, they blind you to the beauty of your own worth. And that is why strong women are unafraid to walk away. But let's be honest, walking away is not easy. It is messy. It is lonely. It sometimes feels like betrayal, like breaking your own heart. Because saying goodbye to people you once called friend, partner, or even family feels like tearing a page from your own story. And yet, strong women turn that page even through tears because they know the next chapter deserves better ink. Courage, in its rawest form, is choosing yourself when the world tells you not to. It's choosing peace over chaos, even if that peace comes with silence. It's choosing freedom over approval, even if that freedom comes with loss. And most of all, it's choosing self-worth over the comfort of toxic familiarity. Here's what strong women want you to remember. You don't need to keep everyone at your table. Not everyone deserves a seat. Some people come only to take your energy, your joy, your vision. Some people drain your spirit until you forget you even had one. And it is not your job to keep feeding them. Your table is sacred. It is a place for truth, for laughter, for love that doesn't flinch when you fail, and doesn't fade when you rise. Strong women guard that table with courage. They cut off what poisons it, and they make room for what nourishes it. And so should you. Think about your own life for a moment. Who sits at your table? Who lifts you higher, and who keeps pulling you down? Who loves you for who you are, and who loves you only when you fit their mold? Who claps when you win, and who stays silent because your shine reminds them of their shadows? Strong women do not keep everyone. They choose. And in that choosing, they become free. Now, this doesn't mean cutting people out with anger or bitterness. Sometimes it's not about hate. It's about self-preservation. It's about saying, I can love you from a distance, but I will not sacrifice myself to keep you close. It's about saying, I deserve relationships where I don't have to beg, perform, or shrink. This is where the true power of boundaries comes alive. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors. They are the way we protect our worth, our peace, our light. Strong women set those boundaries not to push people away, but to make sure the right people can come closer. Here's the beautiful part. When you release what is toxic, you create space for what is true. When you let go of those who only loved you conditionally, you open your arms for people who will love you without measure. When you stop performing for approval, you begin living in authenticity. And that is where freedom lives. So if you're listening right now, and you feel the weight of toxic love, manipulative friendships, or conditional approval, hear me clearly. You do not have to carry it anymore. You are allowed to let go. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to choose yourself. Because the bravest thing you will ever do is believe that you are enough without their validation. Strong women know this. Walking away is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the doorway to peace, to joy, to love that feels like freedom. It is the moment you stop surviving relationships and start thriving in them. So guard your table, choose wisely who gets a seat, protect your light, and never ever forget, you are worthy of love that does not come with conditions, chains, or fear. That is the power of cutting off toxic people. That is the power of standing in your worth. That is the power of a strong woman who refuses to settle for less than she deserves. And maybe, just maybe, that strong woman is you.